It's Labor Day 2018, and I wanted to do a follow up to the four pillars of health, and the first one was on nutrition. And I was thinking it's time to get into the second, third, and fourth, but let's just consider this one B, like 1B. The first one was 1A, because the food and the nutrition thing is really important. I want to give you some of my own experience as a trainer and just my life, family, friends. The one thing that seems to keep coming up is we're all different, different ages, different athletic levels, different metabolisms, different blood types, different everything, and that's true. So then the argument is, well, then we all need to eat differently. That part's not true. But let me clarify. Let me then I'll do the other side. The similarity is we're all humans, at least most of us. So there's certain biological functions that need to happen as a result of what you're eating, what you consume. So that's true. Okay, so it could be a baby person or an older person. The commonality is that they're a person. So I want to get that out of the way. So we're all living human creatures. Now the difference is the variables are, and I'll try to make it like as simplified as possible. The differences are based off of energy expenditure, your activity level, your requirements for yourself throughout the day. So if you're a baby and you're growing, and the expectation is to grow and for your brain to grow, we're talking for that baby proportionally tons of calories, lots of fat, lots of protein, tons. If you run marathons and you're a male and you're 27 and you're 5'6" and 119 pounds, and you run regularly 25, 30 miles a day, your food's going to be different. It's going to be more carbohydrates as a fuel source. Now, we can have a whole nother discussion about keto and about using fat. It's been done. It's not really consistently done, and there's a lot of problems with it. Definitely hasn't been done consistently with any type of, explosive training, sprinting. No. Long distance, I remember one guy was being interviewed. It took him like a year and a half, 2 years to have his brain and body converted into like using fat as an energy source for long distance running. But I think that's sort of the exception, That's sort of the exception. So what it comes down to is, what are you doing that is going to push what you're eating? So if you're walking around Disneyland all day with the kids from 8 in the morning till 8 at night, yeah, a handful of nuts isn't going to cut it. On the other hand, 6 cheeseburgers is way overboard. So I know it's going to get confusing, and I really don't want to, there's so many individual examples that can be given. What I want to say is you eat for what you do. If even within football, and you could agree or disagree, an offensive lineman who they want to be around 315 pounds at 6'3" is going to be eating differently for that goal than a wide receiver who's also 6'2", 6'3", but 194 pounds and expected to run and jump and all this stuff. Same height, same football team, same age. different requirements for that job and different choices that they need to make as far as eating. You look at the world's strongest men, most of the time they are not totally shredded, they are not totally ripped, but more often than not, they're all bulky. So they're either bulky pure muscle, but mostly bulky muscle and fat. There are tons of advantages for strongman of carrying extra weight. Maybe not for the average person. So, and then if you're a gymnast, you don't want to have extra weight because you're pushing your body through the air, rings, pommel horse, uneven bar, whatever you're doing. There's no advantage of carrying extra cheese. So I know I'm using athletes, but we could say the same thing. If you're in a wheelchair and you're older and your activity is minimal, then maybe you should eat minimally. So with all these diets, all these nutrition books and all that, and the difference between paleo and keto and high carb and medium carb and high protein, and taking a gram of protein for every pound of lean body mass, take a gram of protein for every pound of body mass, you take up to, and some people are saying, which I think is just over the top, 2 grams of protein for every pound of body weight. Yeah, if you're taking anabolic drugs, if you're taking steroids, and your body can convert and utilize 2 grams of protein for every pound of body weight. So if you're a 250-pound person and you're just eating up 500 grams of protein, then not all the time, but most likely you have to be using drugs in order to assimilate that much protein. I know and have seen some of the top pros, they can do it on 300 grams of protein, 400 grams of protein max. These are massive people. Still think that's a lot of protein, but their bodies are really, really efficient at using that protein. But anyway, so sort of the summary here is piggybacking on the last one that I did on nutrition is philosophically eat for what you do, eat for what your goals are, and your eating is going to be different than the other person because you're not the same height, weight, age, all that stuff is different, and so you're going to have to balance it out. With that being said, have a great day. See ya.